Alrighty, guys, welcome to today's class. Today we are going to be going over email campaigns in Command. In case you missed it, I did drop a few links in the chat. I can reshare those if you need me to. They're just for our YouTube, our agent support, and our email. Let me know if you can't see those and I can add them again. Again, everyone is going to remain muted during the class so we can make sure we get through everything. But if you have questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. Let's go ahead and jump in. So we're going to go over email campaigns today. The first thing we're going to want to do is go to Command. You're going to go to agent.kw.com to get to Command. Now, once you're there, you'll log in with your KW username and password, and it will let you go ahead and log in. Once you are logged in, the first thing for commands that for campaigns that we want to take a look at is going to be under our profile. We're going to go to settings. And once we're in settings, we're going to hit connect settings and marketing profile. Now, the reason we want to take a look at this is because some of the information for the footers, headers, things like that, those are going to pull directly from your marketing profile. So if you're missing something or if something is not working correctly, the only place to edit that is going to be here within your marketing profile. So we'll just take a look there first. You do want to make sure you have a photo. We do recommend having some kind of logo here. The reason for that is because that image does pull into the header and footer, primarily the footer. So if you don't have something there, it's going to look a little bit broken. So even if you just throw in a generic KW, if you're not a part of a team, it's going to be better than leaving that blank. And we'll take a look at where you can find the generic KW logos too, in case you need them. You want to make sure your information is filled out here, name, license information. If you're on a team, if not, you can just put Keller Williams or your office based on their market center name, your title. If you have a slogan, you can go ahead and add that there. Any credentials that you have, military affiliations, bios, things like that. Not all of this information will pull to your designs as you're making them, but it is good to have this completely fully filled out. But any of the asterisks, those are going to be required. But one thing, for example, that may cause an error if it's not here, some smart plans or things like that won't go off if you don't have your license number plugged in. It will give you an error. So we just like to cover the marketing profile in full. Just make sure everything is filled out. If you have any specific compliance that needs to be included, you'll want to go ahead and add that. We do recommend reaching out to your market center or compliance coordinator in your office to make sure that you have all of that information and have it in here if it's needed. There are links and things like that that you can also include that will pull to those profiles. So again, marketing profile, if in case you jumped in late and you missed it, you just want to make sure this is fully filled out because some of this information does pull to the designs for like footers and headers and things like that. Another thing we're just going to take a look at real quick is the applications. So once you're in your applications, one thing you just want to take a quick look at is your command email. Or MailChimp if you're a MailChimp user, but today we are going to focus on command email. So this is where you'll make sure the account that you want to be using for that is filled out. So I just got a request for the recording. This is already being recorded. So if you need to catch that later, you can check it for it on our YouTube channel. Again, managing your command email. This is where you're going to decide what your sender name that you'd like to show will be, as well as the reply to email. So if you are not using your KW email, you may want to make sure that whichever email you are using is selected there so that you can go ahead and see all those replies immediately. This is also where you can manage your monthly subscription. You do get 5,000 with your subscription, but anything over that 5,000, you are going to need to upgrade your subscription and potentially pay for additional emails per month. And that is through the marketplace. So just keep that in mind if you have a very large database and you're sending more emails than that, you may want to upgrade. The next thing that we're going to take a look at is we are going to go into designs. So I know we're doing an email campaign today, but we generally recommend that you create the design first. It just reduces the chance for errors when you're creating that campaign, things like that. So we just recommend starting here. And for this, we're going to hit create a design. And since we are doing an email campaign, we're going to want to use the email templates. In some situations, we do get emails, hey, I'm not able to find my template I just created. It's not pulling in for my email campaign or smart plan. If you create a social design or print and you're trying to email it, most likely it's not going to come up. It does need to be an email template in order for you to email that. However, you can pull those social designs that you make into the email design. So just keep that in mind if you're seeing an error like that at any point. Once we click email, you're going to notice there are various different templates within here. I didn't create these, so everyone should have these. These are provided by KWRI as the templates through your library. You can load more. There are 73 different templates that you can access and utilize. They're all going to be slightly different. And you can, of course, edit them and change them however you would like. So just keep that in mind. That can be altered. Things like that. Some are for events that you have going on, say you have a client event. Some are simply just holiday emails, and others are going to feature specific homes. So you can take a look at these and figure out which one you like the best. You can also import an HTML from another email provider. And in order to do that, you're just going to copy and paste that HTML code here. Now keep in mind, you don't want to mess with anything other than that. So you don't want to delete or edit any of the information above or below. You'll just paste that code and hit import. We're not going to be doing that today. So if you do want more information on that, you can check out our YouTube. We should have something that goes over that in greater detail. For today's purpose, we are not going to use a design in the library either. And I apologize, it took us all the way back. For today's class, we're going to create a new template from scratch so that we can kind of go over all of the various different pieces. Now, first thing that you're going to want to do is put a name up here. So I'm just going to put newsletter. For today's class, I'm going to kind of create maybe a fall holiday kind of newsletter that's going to go out with various different information. So the first thing that I like to do anytime I'm creating an email campaign is I like to pull in that legal header. In order to pull that in, I'm just simply clicking on it, dragging and dropping where I want it. Now, when I do that, you're going to notice that it looks a little bit maybe broken up here, and you can't edit this information. This is why that marketing profile we went over is so important. If we click this little eyeball to preview, you'll notice that it is in fact filling out that information and it is pulling it directly from that profile. So that was the reason making sure that was filled out was so important. You can also, while you're looking at the preview, change the view. This is obviously a desktop view. We can look at an iPad as well as a mobile device to see what that email would look like. We're going to go ahead and hit X and go back. So that is just that, like I said, legal header. I just like to pull that in for every email that I do, as well as the legal footer. So same thing, I'm going to drag and drop, and you'll notice this green line is going above and below as I move this. That is telling you where it's going to drop it. So I want it to be below. Again, looks a little bit broken. We can click that preview to see what it looks like. This is why that team logo was so important. You can put your photo there again. If you want your photo to show at the bottom, you can use that standard KW logo, whatever is easiest or that you prefer, do that. Most of this information, unfortunately, can't be edited too much. So like making the address show once instead of twice. Unfortunately, we don't have any way to do that. This is kind of built how it is right now, so it's not super customizable, minus changing out those logos and things like that. So we're going to go ahead and go back. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to take a look at adding text. So again, watching that green line where I drag and drop. Once that's there, it's going to say insert your text here. You'll notice when I hover over it, it says agent text. I can click on that and it will then give me the option to edit or delete. So we're going to click the little pencil, and this is where we can go ahead and add whatever text we want to add. So I'm going to go ahead and change, and I like to highlight just to make sure that it takes whatever I'm changing. We can change the size. We can make it bold, italic, underline. You can edit all of that. You can even add some color if you want to add some fun there. So we're going to do orange. Center, bullets, etc. You can insert links. The other thing I want to point out is this little drop down here. This is a merge field. So it's going to allow you to pull in specific information for whoever you're sending this email to. You can pull in their name, license number. This is agent information, so it's going to pull in yours. But if we keep going down, you'll notice we get market center information, KWLS information from a listing, and then contact information. So this one is kind of important. I like to use this one because if I'm sending this to someone specific, I want it to look like it's only being sent to them. So we're going to do contact first name. And you'll notice it plugs in that box. I have seen people try to type this out and it doesn't always take. So we do just recommend using those drop downs and clicking what you want to use to make sure that it works. I like to add a space because I don't want it to be right next. We're just going to, actually, I'm going to change this around. We're going to go to the beginning and then I'm going to have to fix my font again. Thanksgiving is next week, so let's do something geared towards that. And I can't type, that's okay. We're gonna change this back up, make it 20. I'm gonna turn it back to orange. And then we're gonna put an exclamation at the end. So the next important thing is that, as you can see, there's no save right here. The only save is up here. Your save button when you're using this text field is the done button. So if you don't hit done, it's not going to save that information. So I'm going to go ahead and hit done, and you'll see that it has plugged that information in and changed it the way that I had it. Now, if we hit the preview option, we can see that it says contact first name. We should be able to just pick someone, and you can see that it's actually going to plug in their name up there. So that is what we want to just double check to make sure it's working properly. So you can drop that down to see whoever you want, and then go ahead and hit X because we can see that it's now working. The next thing I want to do is pull in an image. So I'm going to just drag and drop that again. Now you'll notice when I hit that I am prompted with my images first. So my images are designs or graphics that I've added that I've already used in Command in emails. So they're pulling in that information that I've already used. I can also pull in from listings by searching a specific listing. The best way to do this to make sure you're getting the right listing is to actually search by the MLS number. That is going to be the most accurate, because when you're searching for a listing in here, it is searching the entire database for that listing. So it's going to pull in probably a couple of different ones. So to be the most accurate and to be the fastest at getting it would be to use that MLS number. And then you also have the option to add images. Now, this is images that maybe you created outside of Command, or if you want to pull in one of those designs that you made in social, you can simply download that and upload it. So let's do that real fast just so you guys can see what that looks like. So I'm going to go over to designs, and we're going to quickly just pull a social design so that I can download that and show you. We're going to go to holiday. And again, since we're going with the Thanksgiving theme this month, we're going to go ahead and just find one of those to add. We will just pull this one for the sake of being quick. We're going to hit use. I'm going to quickly swap that DBA out once it loads. As you can see, it's still loading at the top. So once that's done, it will let me click on that. For whatever reason, it's taking its time today. Probably because it knows I'm trying to show you guys. Here we go. So now I can swap that out. Maybe not the logo I wanted to use, but for the sake of just doing the class today, we're just going to leave it. I'm just going to make it smaller. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit download. I'm going to do that as a PNG, and I'm going to hit download, and it's going to download that directly to my computer. Now, once it has downloaded, I can go ahead and drag and drop or just pull that in. And it's saying it's too big. That's okay. I'll pull in a different one for now, but I really just wanted you guys to see how to do that. We're going to pull in this one. It's going to pop that in. So I actually want this to be, well, I'm going to leave it below, but I do want to show you guys a trick here in just a second. We're going to pull in some more text, and wishing you a good Thanksgiving. I really cannot type today, you guys. Just want to make a long sentence so that I can show you guys this next little piece. So I just type something up. As you can see right now, the text is going past the image. There is a little trick that you guys can use to make that seam line and to make it all kind of the same width, and that's going to be this use inline text. So when I hit done, as you can see, it kind of brings that to not go past the photo. So if you're kind of like me and you like things to be, you know, consistent and stay the same, we can kind of edit that to where it looks like it's all in the center. It's just more pleasant to look at for me, but it's totally up to you on how you set that up. But that is just one of the fields that some people aren't really sure what it does. So a good one to kind of highlight with you guys. So we pulled in an image. I do want to show you guys the listing one. So I'm just going to grab the first listing up here, but feel free to search by your MLS ID that you're looking for. I'm going to hit view. Actually, let's see if I can find one with a photo. Or not. Here we go. Let's do this one. So we're just going to grab this photo on the front. As you can see, it pulls all of that information straight from the MLS. So I'm not having to find it and pull it in. I can also custom or adjust this size by simply using the arrows on the side. So super easy to make it the same width as the other photo and just make things super consistent throughout the entire email. The next thing that I want to show you guys is the button option. So we're going to drag that and drop it over. The great thing about this is that you can link it to a landing page or a web address. So say you have an open house coming up and you want this to go straight to the open house sign up sheet or the open house sheet that you've created, whatever it is, you can hit the web address and you can link that directly. So obviously not for the open house or the address, but I can just put that HT, that full link. I can just throw that in here and it will link that with the button. I can also change the size of that if I want to, the font, center, color, all of those things can be changed. If I want the edges to be round, all of that. It can all be edited to however you want it to be. We're going to go with blue. Again, you want to use that done button when you're done. It's going to save those options for you. It didn't save my rounded. You have to select the radius. Now it's rounded. You can change that bigger so you can see it a little bit better. And you can see it's rounded more now. Again, can adjust that verbiage there. So if I want it to be centered, if I want it to be bigger or change the size, all that can be changed. So now when I use that, it will link that button to another page. So it will take them to that website when they click on that button. How do I edit the header? So Erin, great question. That information pulls from your marketing profile. I can go back to that at the end of the class in case you need to see it firsthand. We've already looked at the legal header and the legal footer. So the next thing we're going to take a look at real quick is the listing block. So as you can see, it pulls in one big block with all of the information. Again, you have the pencil or pen, whatever you want to call it, to edit, and the delete as well. So we're going to go ahead and hit edit. From here, you can select the listing again, and I should have saved that address, but I didn't. So we're just going to scroll till I find it again. Maybe. Nope. We'll just use this one. I apologize, my pictures aren't loading today. I don't know if they're doing an update or what's causing that to not load. Usually that will populate a little easier. But you can see the photo is here. You can add text. The address and everything should pull directly from the MLS. So you shouldn't have to edit that too much. We do recommend that you do go over it. Make sure the information is accurate for your listing, just to be safe. And then again, you can also link that to any of those options. So landing page, MERD tag, web address. Once you're done and everything looks good, you can hit done. And as you can see, it plugged in all of that information for me. And you can add more than one of these. If you have multiple listings, this is a great way. If you have 3, 4, or 5 listings, however many, you can add all of those and do a monthly newsletter to send out. Or if you have open houses coming up and you want to say, hey, we have this many open houses this weekend, come check them out. You can put all of that in that email and send it out. So this is your newsletter to kind of, or whatever email campaign you want to send, to customize however is best for you and what works for your business. So please don't think that you have to make yours obviously the same as mine, because mine is just for teaching purposes. The next thing I want to take a look at with you guys is the event block. So we're going to just drag that and drop that over again. As you can see, that is one big box. I can hover over these and it's showing them, but this big box pertains everything. So I can't edit the big box itself. I can just delete it. But if I click on these individual pieces, I can edit those separately. So let's say, for the sake of sticking with the Thanksgiving theme, let's see that we are having a pie giveaway the next weekend, and we want to invite everyone out to the pie giveaway. Or whatever giveaway. I can click on that and hit replace, and it's going to allow me to find that image that I want to use. I'm going to go ahead and pick one from my computer. Now you notice once I add that, I still have to click on it down here in order for it to replace. So just keep that in mind. Now, once I've done that, again, I can edit everything I want to. I can change the size of it, position, etc. But just keep in mind, hit that done button. You definitely don't want to forget that. You can also, again, drag. If you want to make that bigger, it's going to make it as big as it can. And then if it obviously isn't going any bigger, that's as big as you can do it. So I did it as a fall giveaway, but for example, like I said, say we're doing a pie giveaway. I can then change the date. Let's see, let's say it's this weekend. So we're going to say November 18th, and obviously not 2020, so 2023, and we're going to do this at 1 p.m. So now I've got all of that there. Again, I can edit the text, the size, color, everything like that. Hit done. As you can see, it's not centered there. So if I want that to be centered, I can click both of those and it's going to go ahead and put that right there. Event title. I'm going to do pie giveaway. Or you're giving out free turkeys or whatever it may be. Done. Any additional details I want to add, I can put those here. Done. Didn't center. There we go. Few details. This is similar to that button that we added up here. So again, you can add a link, say that you have an Eventbrite or something set up to make sure you know how many people are coming. You can edit that and set the link and everything there so that they have that. We're going to go with our brown theme up here. There we go. So super easy, like I said, great for any kind of event you've got going on. If you're doing a client appreciation event or again, an open house, you can do the same thing here. So great thing to use for all of those various different things. Our next content piece is adding in a video. So we're going to go ahead and drag and drop that. Again, you're going to hit the edit button. This one, keep in mind with the video URL, this does have to be a public URL. So to explain what that means a little bit is that if you're recording a video on your phone and you want to use that in your email to send out, you would have to have an actual URL. So you can create your own YouTube or other service that allows you to upload videos that are public and grab that URL for the video. But it does have to be a public video. So we're going to go ahead and pull in, I grab this quick URL right here. I paused it fast enough. So we're going to grab that URL. We're going to post that here. And once we do that, we're going to hit done. Now, as you can see, it didn't put a picture there. We have to add that separately. And you need this done by when? Oh, sorry, I didn't pause. But one thing I want to point out is if I hover over this box, you can see that I've uploaded the video by looking in the left corner of my screen. You'll see that it is showing that URL for that box down there. So we do know that it's there. However, if you want an image to show up for the video, you would still want to add one here. So we're going to click on that. I'm just going to pick a random photo so you guys can see. I'm going to hit replace. Now, when I hit done, it's going to put that there. I can still see that the video is there by looking in the bottom left corner of my screen. It's showing the YouTube URL so that I can view that and make sure that everything's working properly. I can also just check here just to see if that's not lining up correctly. So I may have to go back and fix that. But you can see that it has my video and all of my other content. Let's just take a look at this photo up here. It says centered. Every once in a while, guys, we get a hiccup where things don't seem to want to line up correctly. Sometimes in those cases, I just remove them and redo it. Let's see if we can fix that. Sometimes, nope, things have a mind of their own. Well, for the sake of getting through all of our content, we're going to keep going, but normally I would just play around with that till I get fixed, or if you're not getting it fixed, you can reach out to us and we can take a look at it for you. The next thing I want to just show you guys real quick is the Market Snap. So we're going to go ahead and pull that in. Now, keep in mind, this information is going to pull directly from Nextdoor. So there is no way for you to manually edit the information that pulls into this block. You have to go with whatever information is pulling. So we'll take a look. You hit the edit button, same as we have before. You can change what this says if you wanted to say Market Snap or what's near you, whatever you want it to say, you can change that. And it will edit that neighborhood trends title there. We're going to go ahead and pull an zip code. Let me see. Let's do 32801. And then we can just pick the neighborhood that we want to take a look at. So I'm just going to pick one. We're going to do Bel Air for fun. When I hit done, you can see that it's pulling in that information. Now, the neighborhood that I picked, unfortunately, is not pulling any actual statistics. So we may want to just switch that. Now we can see that it's actually pulling in listings, pending, things like that. So you may have to find one that's actually pulling information you want to show. Because again, unfortunately, it doesn't let us edit that information. It is going to pull directly from Nextdoor. Maybe at some point it will be an editable field, but for now, it's not. I got a quick question here. Where did I find the pie giveaway photo? Well, this isn't a pie giveaway photo. It just says fall giveaway. You could turn it into a pie giveaway photo, but I just grabbed this off of Canva. So feel free to take a look. Let's see. Are the other options to adjust the spacing? So there is not a set way to adjust the spacing between the photo and the text and the image. However, my workaround for that is to simply add a text box there. And it may not work in this specific one because that is one big box. But for example, if I don't want these to be this close together, I like to throw a text box in to create some space. And I just delete the text. So that is a workaround depending where you're trying to add it. It will break that up a little bit. But some of the boxes that are large boxes, like this event box, unfortunately, it may not allow us to add that kind of. So you could potentially just enter that and it creates space that way as well. So hopefully that answers your question. So a couple ways to do that there. Let's see, moving right along. So that is my whole newsletter. Now, again, this one's kind of just a mock-up. It's not a real one that I would send out, but that is what it looks like. We can preview that again. And adjust it how we want. And back to that, if you want to see their name again, to just make sure things are working, you can check that. But once we're done and our email newsletter is exactly how we want it and we like the way that it looks, we can go ahead and hit save. If you would like to send a test email, we always recommend sending a test email just because you want to make sure everything works and looks how you want it to before you send it out to your database. So for this, if you want to send a test email, you can simply just type that there. And just use, I'm just going to put support at Scott Leroy Marketing. And then I can go ahead and send that test email and it will send it out to show all of the information here. One question that we sometimes get asked is the unsubscribe option. Every email sent from Command is going to automatically include that unsubscribe option in your emails. So you can't see it, but it is there. When it goes out to your database. Okay, so if you're not sure about that, that is always going to be there. But again, once we're done with our email, we like how it looks. We're going to hit the save button. Newsletter has been saved to my templates. We can go ahead and hit the X. It's just going to make sure that you save it again. It's just the way the system works. Once we have that design, we're ready to go over to campaigns and pull in that design. So we're going to hit campaigns and we're going to take a look at emails. So one thing that I like to do here is I like to create my email list before I get into the actual campaign. So you can create your list by hitting on the email list. It's going to show you all of the lists that you already have. I'm going to go ahead and delete this old one, but it's going to show you your list that you have. So if I'm going to do create a list, I'm going to do cartoons for today's purposes. And we are going to pull in all of the cartoon characters, which my database has quite a few of. So now I can see that I can pull in all of those by hitting the select all. So if I want to email all 11 of these contacts, it's going to go ahead and allow me to select all. Now, I can also search by name and add someone else if I want to. I don't have that one in here, so I'm just going to try to, let's go ahead and add these. And then I'm going to edit. And we're going to remove that tag for a second because all of those should already be added. Actually, let's just look up A to Z that I had in here. That's not it. Oh, let's use this one. And let's see. As you can see, it's not pulling anybody that doesn't have an email. So my A to Z contact does not have an email, I believe. Let's go back. I don't think I have an email for that one. And turn off my smart view for a second. Yeah, okay. So my A to Z contact does not have a email. So as you can see, it's not going to allow me to pull anyone in that doesn't have an email to add to the smart plan. Obviously, you can't send, or I'm sorry, the email campaign. Obviously, you can't send an email campaign to somebody that you don't have an email for. So it's not going to give you the option to add them to the email list because there's no active email for the contact. So a good way to just make sure that you're not pulling anybody that you don't need to. But you can obviously edit that. One thing I like to point out, I pulled this list by a tag. If I add new people to that tag, it's not going to automatically update the email list. So you are going to want to make sure anytime you're emailing, you may need to update that email list first. If you're emailing your entire database and you've added new people, if you've created that list, you're going to want to edit it, okay? So just keep that in mind. It's not going to auto update based on tags or anything like that. Now that we have our list, we're going to go back to emails. Now this is your emails dashboard, okay? So it's going to tell you how many emails you have left in your 5,000 free emails. So you can monitor that. It's going to say how many emails you've sent in the last 30 days, how many recipients, opens, clicks, etc. You can change this by mailed, scheduled, archived, draft, all to what you want to view. And the great thing that I love about email campaigns is, as you can see over here, it's saying how many emails were sent, how many people opened it, how many clicked on it and actually looked at it. If we take a closer look, it's going to actually show those emails. So if somebody unsubscribed, I'm going to see who unsubscribed from my email. If some didn't send, maybe they have a blocker that's preventing my email from going through, something like that. Or they just deleted my email. I can see all of that information. So it's a good way to track if your emails are gauging interest. And if they're working, you know, so great way to be able to gauge your contacts, your database, things like that. So you can view all of that once the email has sent and it starts gathering that information. You can also duplicate and archive those. So know that that option is there as well. But we're going to get back into creating ours. So we're going to hit create, and obviously we're doing an email campaign. So we want to hit email. Now we need to name our email. So I'm just going to do fall newsletter because that's what I'm going to call this. I'm not advertising a listing per se or attracting. I'm just going to do this as other because it's just a newsletter to go out. Maybe I'm just informing them of information or events, things like that. I would recommend though that you do make sure whatever the purpose of your email is that you're selecting the correct one. Trying to find my words here today. Where are we running our email campaign? Again, today we're going to be using Command Mail, but you can use MailChimp to run those as well. We're going to hit create. Now that we are in our email campaign, it's going to have the campaign name. It's going to have the account that we're using, who I want to send this to. So again, you can create your list here, but to reduce errors that we've seen in the past, we just recommend creating that outside of the email campaign. And we're going to go ahead and select that. It's going to show you your send from and reply to. So you can edit that here as well if you want to, but is going to direct you to the settings, which is kind of why I showed you that earlier. But you can change that email if you're not using that. The email subject, so what the clients, friends, customers, whatever you want to call them, what they're going to see when that email comes in to their inbox. Talking and typing at the same time is not my skill set. And then we're going to select the design. So this is where I mentioned earlier, if you created a social design or a print design and you're coming in here and you're saying, oh my gosh, I'm not seeing my design, where did it go? It's probably because it's not the right template format. So you're gonna probably have to recreate it or pull in the design to your email template. But mine that I just created is right here. I'm going to go ahead and click on that, check it out, make sure everything is there. And then I can go ahead and hit save and hit that X again. Now the email is going to pop up over here on the right-hand side. I can see that that's what they're going to get. It's giving me that full preview again. I can also send the test email or preview it again from here. If I decided I clicked the wrong email design, I can switch that out. Now I have the option to save the draft. Say I'm not ready to send it out. I'm still waiting for maybe a listing to go live or something like that. And I'm going to come back, I can save this. I can schedule it to go out at a certain day and time if I would like. Or I can go ahead and send it out right now, and then it will start plugging that information in. I'm not going to send this out. I'm going to go ahead and hit save draft. Once you send that though, it is going to update that to say processing until it starts hitting mailboxes and things like that, and then it will update. So just keep that in mind. And again, this information will start to plug in as that's being emailed out. That is the email campaigns there. Since we have some time still, I am going to make sure we have some time for questions, but I do just want to show you guys one of the templates that's already created from KW in case you just want to use one of those. So we're going to go back to designs and create. And we're just going to pick one to kind of take a look at. So we'll just do, see, I saw a Christmassy one down here somewhere. And this one would be good for a pie giveaway too, guys. They already have one in here. So why don't we just take a look at that one actually? So as you can see, it's already built. It looks a little different than mine looked, which is perfectly fine. It doesn't have the full like header that I had, but it is going to show the Market Center name up there. And again, they have the contact first name, which is polling. So when you see that, you can again check that out here. It's going to say dear whoever. It's not going to just say dear client name. So pretty cool that it does that for you. But this is a great one that you guys could just automatically pull up and use, and you just have to edit a few little things. So if you're looking to send something out last minute to your database for Thanksgiving, definitely check this one out. Even if you don't like the photo and you want to switch it out with something else, you can do that. Can edit this one if you want it to be bigger. We can go ahead and use that. It didn't really do anything there, so that's okay. Sometimes things don't always work in designs the way that I hope they will. But again, super easy. You can edit this text to say what you want it to, change some things, whatever. And then they have some different footers here at the bottom versus what this footer pulls in. So as you can see, this one here is a little bit different. It says download my app. It has your license number, phone number, your website, things like that. Now, when I click on that, I'm going to see it down here. As you can see, though, the website option, it's not going to update with your actual website URL. It's still going to say website. I see that question come in sometimes. Hey, this isn't working. It is pulling in your URL. It's just going to continue to say website unless you want it to say something different. You can edit that. In order to do that, you just click the little edit pencil when you hover over it. As you can see, I can link my website. I can change what that says. If I want it to say something else instead of agent website, I can definitely change that. It's kind of just your preference. But it is going to pull all that information. Again, this is pulling from your marketing profile. So website was one of those things you want to make sure is filled out. Phone number, license number. If you ever see that error like license number is missing or something like that, it's probably missing from your profile. And it won't let you send this if that's missing. So they do have the footer that we put in, but this one is different. So if you like this one and you don't want to use this email, you can definitely just delete the rest of this and just use that box. So just something to keep in mind. You can customize these how you want. Even if you want to add video or whatever, say that you created a I'm thankful video and you want to put that in here. You come down and go ahead and put that in here. Again, just has to be a public URL and I can add that to there. So say you create something from you saying, I'm so thankful for you, whatever, you can put that in there. I'm going to go ahead and hit save. And as you can see, it's prompting me with an error. My agent website failed. Your marketing profile doesn't, it's basically telling me, hey, you don't have this. So this isn't going to work. So perfect example of that right here. I should be able to delete that though. And it will probably let me save now. So, but then I just have a website button there and I don't want that there if it's not going to work, right? We're going to go ahead and hit save changes. I hope this class was helpful today. We have about 10 minutes left. I'm going to take a look at the chat for any questions that I missed. So if you guys have any additional questions, feel free to go ahead and drop those in and we can take a look at them before class is over. If you don't have any questions and you want 10 minutes back of your day, go ahead and jump off. That's totally fine too. Let's see what we got here. If the person unsubscribes once, does it not send them an email again? Correct. So it won't send them if they've unsubscribed. Next one here. Will you see that type of detail reporting in regards to open rate, send rate? I believe that even if you're using MailChimp, it will, but I would want to double check on that because I do not use MailChimp a lot. So I would want to double check that first before I give you a 100%. Yes, it does. So don't take my word for it just yet. Could we do the same for birthdays? Have it auto send to clients. So if you're wanting to auto send to clients on their birthdays, I would recommend checking out the Birthday Smart Plan. Because currently I do not believe that there is a way to set up a email trigger based on a birthday. So you'd have to be manually sending that out. I'm going to go ahead and stop record, guys. Again, if you have any additional questions, drop them in the chat. If there's a question that maybe is way more in depth than you'd like to ask today, email us at support@scottleroymarketing.com. We are so happy to assist you. I'm going to stop record just so we can go through all of these questions and take a look at things.